Hello everybody, I am SS the Showstopper and today is the 3rd of March 2024. I want to make this quick video because I didn't want to let it go by into tomorrow when I'm well prepared heading on the road and stuff like that. Now I just want to speak on the situation in regards to the death of the teenager from Little London in Westmoreland by the name of Tara Dennis, who also goes by the name of Chopperly. Quite an interesting name that she took onto herself, and it's reported that she was murdered after, she was sitting on the veranda speaking with a man a 38-year-old man, I'm sorry, who also suffered gunshot wounds, and he's in the hospital at this time. Now, an interview was also made to the grandmother of the late Tara because she succumbed to the injuries. The interview was done, and she was speaking that she heard the name, and you can't say the guy is her ex-boyfriend or automatically label the guy boyfriend because they're young people overall and they will know people, they will have friends here and there, but you can't just automatically say yes, it's the boyfriend or she has a boyfriend and stuff like that. I've been hearing and I've been reading and I've been listening. It's really, I'm sorry. It's a touching situation based on all that I've been hearing that centers around her. That, the grandmother is saying that she was going to the school and she dropped out, due to financial reasons, and she decided to get a job. It's also reported that she was with her mother. Mother had her quite young, and she wasn't in a situation wherein she could, I guess, take care of her the right way or something like that, to that effect. It's also reported that her stepfather was abusive to her and the mother was taking his side, and so they had an agreement that she would live with an aunt. And I guess the behavior, they're saying, according to the report, that the aunt treated her like a dog, treated her very bad. And, they had to call a report on her, and she was taken to a girl's home. I think the reason you're heading to a girl's home or you are sent to a girl's home is based on the fact that you have behavioral problem. So it's not only the fact that based on how people treat you, but it's also based on the fact that you're most likely disobedient, one of those type of troubled teens and stuff like that. And, for the most part, let's say all things are equal and she was in fact a troubled teen, it's going to be, a situation wherein parents or guardian cannot really handle it, because if you're misbehaving and you're disobedient and you're doing things that could very well put parents or guardian in problem, then they are going to take it to the authorities and let them deal with it. So let's say all things are equal and that was that and stuff like that. I'm listening as I go along, and I see we're in Popeye's news link. Popeye's news link have made a report and I've spoke about it, and he said that she was working at a bar. Then he did some more investigation and found out that she wasn't working at a bar. She was actually working at an ice cream parlor, and she was working there as a waitress. And people are coming and people are chiming in, and I would love if Popeye could get his news report more factual and accurate, because when you report on these kind of things, people are running with the narrative, people are running with all sorts of narrative, and it puts people in a bad light. The dead is not here to defend herself, you understand, and the family is going through mourning. So when you report on these kind of things and you give the public an opinion of the dead already and stuff like that, it further puts them and their reputation in disrepute, where she's not here, like I say, to defend herself. But all in all, at the end of the day, it's reported that she was dating this guy, the guy who is the alleged killer. She was dating this guy. She was with him and stuff like that. The grandmother said nothing is like that. She had friends, but it wasn't like that. But people are saying that she was with the guy. She was having intimate relations with him, and it had ended. She met someone else who is actually the age of 38, and I'm sorry, she met someone who is actually the age of 38, was with him. She left work and she was sitting on the veranda speaking to him when the gunman came up and, opened fire and stuff like that. Now, when we're looking into the situation and stuff, I'm thinking to myself that there's so much to dissect in this one report. There's so much to break down. And yes, Tara has passed and gone, but there are so many families out there who are dealing with the same thing. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because I'm going to look at the parent side and the guardian side. And I'm also going to look at the teen side. Now, from the parent and guardian side, the mother can very well have the child at a very young age and stuff like that. Teenagers, they tend to be rebellious. They tend to be rude. They tend to be disrespectful, a lot of them. And it's always problematic for parents, especially if you're a single parent, especially if you're a young parent. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to have control or have some sort of restraint when it comes to that child or that teenager. And so they are forced to move to authority or legal authority in order to get some sort of resolution. The mother, I guess, did not do that. The mother, I guess, didn't do that. She decided to pass her or allow her to stay with another relative who is a sister, or most like an elderly sister. And in that regard, I guess the behavior didn't change in the teens. Before I get on the teen side, the behavior didn't change, and so the aunt decided that, listen, I'm gonna take her to the legal authorities and have them deal with it. And they put her into a girls' home. It was moved from that. Now she's staying with her grandmother. I guess the grandmother is, of age, and she's not going to allow any form of situation to become an issue for her. So she says yes, because she's going to stay. She, the daughter, or Tara, realized that, the grandmother is not in a situation wherein she can help her out the way she wants to. And so she decided that she's going to get herself a job, or she's going to drop out of school and get herself a job wherein she can take care of herself or help out in the household. And it speaks that she also has a heart of gold. She's a teenager or a young adult. There are things that she's going to see online. There are things that she's going to want for herself. And to go to your grandmother all the time to ask her, go to these persons or family members, especially when the fact that when it is out there then that she has behavioral problem, she most likely not going to go to them and ask for assistance. So she decided that she's going to get herself a job and decide to help out. And I think that speaks to her having some sort of ambition and also a heart of gold to want to assist her grandmother. And so she went out and she did what she was doing. Do I agree with Tara dating these men? No, I don't. But these are men. They are adult. They should know better not to get involved with a teenager who is underage. It's not legal, and it's also an immoral act, because teenagers can easily, they are impressionable age, number one, and so they are easily manipulated. They are easily influenced. And what would be your reason to want to engage in any form of relation with a teenager? Because you're looking for sexual benefits. Because the things a grown woman will want or demand of you, a teenager simply won't. They will settle for whatever. And if you're a full-grown 38-year-old man and you're having a conversation with a teenager at the age of 16, 2 a.m. in the morning, at the age of 16, 15 years old at 2 a.m. in the morning, you should be arrested, because there's no wholesome conversation you could be having at 2 a.m. that you can't have at 9 a.m. at a decent hour. And she's also an underage. Someone is legally responsible for her still. You understand? And so if you decide that in good conscience, I should be having this conversation with her on her veranda at 2 a.m. in the morning, you're going to think the same thing of a 14-year-old or even a 13-year-old. So there isn't any limit. One thing with these people who have this perverted mindset is that they don't have any limitation. People think that, okay, yeah, because their excuse is that it's a big girl or she's a big woman or she's well experienced simply because she decided to engage in sexual activities. First and foremost, an underage teenager cannot consent to sex, so it is regarded as statutory rape. They cannot consent to sex and they cannot consent to alcohol consumption. You understand? And so with that being said, you would think the same thing of a 13-year-old. So that's the reason I'm saying that an individual who is 38 years old should not be having any form of conversation with a 16-year-old at 2 a.m. and you're not the parent. A 16-year-old should be in bed getting ready for school in the morning. But all in all, she dropped out of school. She decided to get a job. So she would have taken on the role as a mature adult or as an adult, whether mature or immature. So she has decided that, there's some ambition to me. So let me see, because there are things that I'm going to need in life and I can't keep going to grandma because she doesn't have it. So let me go and find myself a job. She got involved with these men. I don't know the age of the alleged killer who they say that she was with. But by look of the picture, you can see that's a grown man. What does he want with her? For her to be his ex or for him to be labeled as her ex? What the hell was he doing with her in the first place? And this is the issue that a lot of persons are having with grown men in society, not knowing their place, not knowing who they are, but yet they want to be leaders and they want to be seen as leaders. an automatic leader that is and should be treated as such. So I'm saying that there's so much to dissect in this situation, so much to dissect, and I feel so bad, like, you know, I want to cry because I can't imagine a teenager who has so many others. Then put her aside, there are so many others who have to go through these kind of things, and this is one of the reasons I always implore that people listen to their parents. And if you can't reach them, there are authorities that you can go to, whether a school teacher or guidance counselor. Not only that, there are law enforcement officers, female officers. If you don't feel comfortable with a male officer, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm very emotional about this entire situation. I'm very emotional about it because I'm just imagining all the other persons out there who have these kind of situations dealing with, and you know, it's extremely difficult for them because for more reasons than one. If you don't feel comfortable going to a male law enforcement, there's also female officers who have been in position of counselors that you can speak to. There are pastors out there. If you're not comfortable with a male pastor, you can go to a female pastor and speak with them and allow the parents to come in, tell them, mommy or daddy, I know you're going to dislike me. I know you're going to do this, that, and the third. But there's somebody out there that I hope that, you know, you can talk to with me to help to have some sort of understanding, because this shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have gotten here. I'm not going to blame the parents, and I'm certainly not going to blame the child. You know, she's gone, she's dead, they can't bring her back. But at the end of the day, parents, as I always say, raise kids the best way they know how to, not the best way they should or they're supposed to, the best way they know how to. And guess what? Parents don't know it all. And so it's important for you to seek additional assistance when you don't know. When you simply don't know, seek additional assistance. I guess in this case, the mother decided that the aunt, according to the reports I'm going by, the mother decided that the aunt would have been the best person, because I guess she didn't want to put her daughter in a home or in a, you know, government safety or something like that. So she decided that the aunt was a better person. The aunt, on the other hand, most likely couldn't deal with it, so she said a place of safety, legal authorities let them take it up, and so she was basically being passed around. But teenagers, you have to understand that mommy and daddy won't always have it. Parents won't always have it. They're human beings. They're not superheroes. They try. Not all of them are human beings. Yes, we know that there are many who are abusive. That's why you have a right to make a report of them also if they are abusive to you. But mommy and daddy don't always have it, and you have to respect it. Doesn't make them less of a mother or less of a father simply because they don't have it financially. It's important to respect them just the same. And parents, it's also very important for you to respect your children. It's also very important. I'm a parent. Well, I was my daughter is an adult now, and we have had several rumbles just the same. You understand? We have gone through it. I'm not perfect. Parents, it's important to respect your children. When they're teenagers, it's important to respect them. You cannot use, my father used to say, you cannot use a 6-year-old method to raise a 16-year-old. It simply will not work. So the same way the child behave at the age of 6, they're certainly not going to behave the same way at the age of 13, 14, 15, and 16. And you have to understand that the same way how you don't behave the same at age 18, at the age of 35, is the same thing with a teenager. And these are things that people have to respect. Now, on to the next story. No, before I go there, I just wanted to say, the comments that people are making are very dark. There are people who are admitting that they had on tattoo. So what if she had on tattoo? So, and I'm like, this is a child. She should not be having on a tattoo or piercings or all of these kind of things. She is a child. It doesn't matter what the case is. She is a child. She is a teen, but she's still a child and should have been in statute. There should have been some sort of restraint on her. So for her to have tattoos and piercings and all of that, it shows that there is also a disconnect. There is something going on with her that is beyond the parents. And so this is the reason I don't blame her completely, and I do not blame the parents completely. And look at the comments. I just want you guys to take a look at the comments here right now, because I personally went on social media and I screenshot it just to show you the mind of people. Look at this. Now that you have seen the comments wherein people are saying that, so what if she's effing down the place? So what, it is her body? And I'm like, is that a parent? That sounds like an immature person. That sounds like somebody that is not with us. Because why would you say, so what if a 16-year-old is effing down the place? Is that even something good? You're saying that there's nothing wrong with being with a teenager living the life of a whore. You understand? And what parent or what grown mature adult would want to greenlight something like that if they aren't a pervert themselves? You understand? So these are, and this is the reason why I say, you know, there has to be some sort of restraint on social media where people can't just post whatever it is that come to their empty head, because there's no form of maturity, there's no form of personal responsibility or morality that encompass a lot of these people. They just believe that whatever it is that goes on in their mind, they should just put it on social media and not think. You understand? Because who would greenlight or find something okay with that kind of comment? So what if she's doing this, and so what if she's doing that? How is that even wholesome? I'm sorry. How is that even just for a teenager who has lost her life to say that? So what if? No, you can't. She's a teenager who should have been protected. If she even doesn't know that she needs a protection, oh well, that's too bad. She will thank you 30 years later. She will thank you 30 years later. You understand what I'm saying? So this is it just goes to show you how stupid, like I said so many times, one thing with stupid people, they master the art of proving to you that they are very stupid. That's what they do. They master the art of proving to you that they're stupid. You can't take it out of them, you know. It's a failed experiment, but goodwill hunting. You understand? Moving on to the other one, where there's a female by the name of Kimora, a teenager who's her father have found her hanging from a rope. She's living in Bogue Village, they say. She goes to Montego Bay High, and it seems that it's apparent suicide that she took her life, according to the report, because the father said that he was calling her phone and she wasn't answering it. And when he went home in the midday, in the afternoon, he found his daughter. And I'm looking into it and I'm like, these are some of the most horrible, dark stories ever when it comes to a child taking their own life. It's one of the worst things out there that you can hear. Like there isn't even any words that you can use to comfort a parent who would feel like they have failed their own child for them to take their own life. It's one of the worst feeling. I wouldn't like to know what it's like for a parent who has to deal with something like that, because it's like you're reaching out and trying, but you couldn't save them, or you miss a mark. You forever wonder what you did, and go into that self-blaming mind where you think you are the problem. I'm so sorry for that parent. I don't know the words that I could say to comfort them and stuff like that. I had a friend who took his life, and to this day, this was from 2014, and until this day, I feel bad about it, because I feel like there's something that I could have done and I didn't, and it hurts so much. It hurts so much to this day. You understand? Because looking at the story, Kimora, a teenager. I remember when I was a teenager and I was going through depression. It was a very, very bad time. That's a dark place. I would never wish it on my enemy. And I went through that period. I've spoke about it more than once on my channel. I went through it and it was so horrible. I wanted to die. I didn't want to live. I didn't see the reason. And each day when I get up, I feel worse, because I was like, I'm not escaping this. I'm not escaping what I'm in. And so I can understand if a teenager is going through depression, because that's not something that one can easily fathom. You're trapped and you feel like there's no way out of what you're facing or the pain that you're feeling, and you can't feel better. There isn't a feel better moment where you can take a pill and say, okay, I'm going to feel better tomorrow. And I remember when I was going to college, and I was around some other students, and I was speaking on my situation when I was in high school and how bad I felt when I was depressed, and a lot of things that I was going through, and how hurtful everything was. Everything around me hurt. I didn't like light. I didn't like natural sunlight. It hurt. My room was extremely dark all day, every day, and I wanted it that way. I could not bear light, any light whatsoever. And funny enough, they started talking about their story and say that they went through the same thing when they were in high school, when they were teenager. One of my friends spoke about taking some stuff. She ingested some things, and she lay on the bed and said that tonight is the night she's going to die, because she couldn't stand how painful everything was. And that's a process in life that you go through. A lot of teenagers go through, a lot of people go through. But the difference is that a lot of times adults can identify what's causing it. Many times teenagers can't. You understand? Sometimes you can raise well, your parents can be able to afford it. I grew up as a teenager. My parents had it. You understand me? As a teenager, we went poverty to to well off, not rich, well off. And so my parents had it. You understand me? But there was an emptiness inside me, and there's nothing that could fulfill it. And I found that there were so many of my classmates when I was in college who went through the same thing. They went through the same thing, and they were telling me their stories. And you know, it made me, from that day, I had it in my mind that I wanted to help other persons who are going through it. And I said, my dream in life is to have a foundation. Have a foundation, but I didn't want to speak on the foundation because I didn't want anybody to run with my points, because I've assisted many persons before and they have run with my ideas and I didn't get any form of credit for it. Anyways, my goal in life is to start a foundation, and a foundation that caters around something like this. I'm not going to speak too much on it because I want to know that I can assist other persons. However, I cannot assist people if I'm not able to help myself. I have to be able to help myself first. But with the universe by my side, I know that I will accomplish it. I know I will accomplish it because we have to address it in the society. There are a lot of people who are going through this in their family. They have teenagers who are going through a lot. Parents are going through a lot. Teenagers are going through a lot, and it happens. It matters not the socio-economic background. It's not necessarily a Tara situation wherein the parents don't have it, and it's not necessarily a situation where the parents have it. It happens in any socio-economic background. People go through situations, and oftentimes parents are stressed, children become stressed. And so children don't know how to deal with it. They are going to act out, especially when they're teenagers. If it's a boy, he most likely going to be around his friends, want to be around his friends, want to not listen to mommy, want to not listen to daddy. The streets start raising him, and then boom, there goes the end of him, or he does something and he's going to have to pay the price for it. And if it's a teenager, you know, mommy can't reach her, daddy can't reach her, she starts developing coping mechanism, whether it be drinking, whether it be smoking, whether it be friends, whether it be sex, whether it be whatever the case may be, and boom, something bad happened and that's the end of them. Or they do something that they're going to have to face the consequences for. And we have to talk about it. There needs to be a discussion. I'm so sorry for the parents who are going through this right now. I wish there was something that I could say, but I can say to you, the only thing I can say is that this moment shall pass. This moment shall pass. It's not the end of the world. And, you know, it's not the end of the world. This moment shall pass. There will be brighter days. There will be brighter days coming, okay? It's just a phase. It will pass. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your day. And may God bless you. Bye-bye.